Hello, hello, welcome. This is my very first Orchestral Excerpts Masterclass. My name is Dr. Lynn Kuo. I am the Assistant Concertmaster of the National Ballet of Canada Orchestra and also the founder of Violin with Dr. Lynn, where I help advanced violinists how to master their instrument and become more confident on stage. So this is actually quite an exciting time. I have never done an orchestral excerpt class for the public before. I only do it for my VIP students. So this is actually going to be very interesting for you to see how I work with my students inside my coaching program. So thank you so much for everyone who's come. Please say hi. Oh, I see someone already. Hi, Rosa. Rosa is going to come into my program soon. Yay. Okay, everyone's got the links. Hello, hello. Costas, I see you. Hello. Evans Gum. Oh, hi, Jane. Where are you? Hi, Jane. How's San Francisco? Oh, Ricky, how you doing? It's good to see you. Okay, good. Thank you for saying hi. This is fantastic. Maybe type in the chat. This is Chris. I know that's Chris. I can recognize your photo. Badass violin. Yes, you're back again. Excellent. I'm good. Glad to see you. Zofia, hi. Costas. I think I said Costas. Yes. Hi. Keep saying hi. I love it. Carol. Hi, Carol. Share some questions in the chat. And maybe I can get a sense of what you're asking. Hi, Lauren. Lauren's also in the VIP coaching program. Nice to see you. Welcome back. Hello, Chrysanthi. Hello. Nice to see you back. Daphne. Is it Daphne? I think it's you. Okay, so keep saying hi. Type in the chat if you have any specific questions. Most people have asked me about bow articulation and fingerings, maybe tempo, what you do in an audition room, how I prepare, how you step into the audition room and prepare the excerpts, how you get into character, how do you get into tempo. If you have those questions, maybe type them in the chat and hopefully I will be able to answer them at the very end. So Q&A, stay for the Q&A after. Just so you know that I have Eva from Columbus, Indiana Philharmonic. She's a concertmaster joining me. And I have Yajing from Oklahoma City Philharmonic also joining me. So they are inside my VIP coaching program and will join me to help me demonstrate Mozart 39 and Brahms 4. Isn't that fun? It's going to be family. Oh, Ishuan's here. Ishuan is saying hi. Ishuan is also in my VIP coaching program. Hello, Carmel. There's Ishuan. Hi. Ishuan was also working on some excerpts. We were doing Mendelssohn Scherzo. Okay, so Vice 6820, hello. Christine, you have a question here, I see. Thank you for the links. I'm currently studying these orchestral excerpts and your masterclass came in the perfect time. Oh, good. I'm so glad. I hope that these will answer your questions. I see my friend Suzanne. Hi. Hopefully I'll get to California soon. Okay, hi, Nick. Okay, all right, so let's see, what was I going to say today? Yes, stay for the Q&A, and for those of you who will be interested in working with me privately, I will be sharing at the end an opportunity for you to join my class, my studio, which is the VIP coaching program. So you will see an invitation at the very, very end. So if you decide, oh, this is going to be a great class for me, working with Lynn, then you will love staying to the end because I'll give you an opportunity and announce a bonus. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to jump right into the class like I usually do. Now, just so you know, in my classes, I usually start off with a meditation, a breathing exercise, or a visualization, just so you know how I run my classes. But today, we're not going to do that. I'm going to invite Eva, my lovely Eva. Hello, Eva. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Hello, Eva. Hi. Everyone give Eva a love in the chat. Say hi and be very complimentary. Eva is going online live with me for the first time. So thank you so much for doing this. Thank you very much. I know it's a lot of eyeballs on your playing, but we will do this with a lot of friendly love. Okay? All right. So before we start, Eva, do you have any specific things you are questioning about this excerpt? Because whatever you ask might be already being thought of in the people watching today.
So I think for this excerpt, there's a particular question for me because it's a really long excerpt and it lasts for 3 minutes, I think. So the first part is actually really slow and the second part is quite fast. So is there like a tempo relationship between these two parts?
Okay. So what Eva is asking about, we didn't actually set the exact excerpt that we're starting with, pardon me. Mozart Symphony No. 39 is what we're going to start with, and Eva has prepared the first movement. So the first half, all the way up to the beginning, from the beginning to the repeat, right?
To 99.
Yeah, which is Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the
It's
fourth
not
one.
close. Yeah, it's not to the
Okay.
repeat.
That's rehearsal letter C. So for those of you, I sent links in the chat with the scores, full score and violin one. Okay, so hopefully you can follow along. Louise is hi. Louise is going to be in the VIP program too. Thank you, Louise, for showing up and saying hi. Okay, okay. So without further ado, let's start. Eva, and we'll ask answer some of the questions, and we'll see how things go. Okay. Meanwhile, in the chat, be very supportive of Eva's playing. Okay. All right. Let's go. Oh, hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna try removing myself. Fantastic. Excellent playing. It is so excellent, as usual. You always bring such a high standard. First of all, for everyone watching, we are always evaluating excerpts for auditions using 4 criteria. Sound quality first. Yours is excellent. Intonation, yours is also excellent. Style, this is also another thing, and rhythm and pulse. So you have all of these. Fantastic. Your rhythm and pulse is actually infallible. It's really quite amazing. We don't even have to talk about it. So now, because Eva, you're such a high level. I mean, you're a concertmaster of your orchestra. So now we can just pick on the tiniest of cosmetic details. So you and I will be able to take, let's say, a perfect eye makeup look and put the sparkles on the ends of your eyelashes. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay, so let's talk about what that might look like, because there's so few details to look at. First of all, I'm curious. I'm surprised that they have asked for the beginning, measure 14. This, I'm surprised that they have asked for all of that, from measure 14 to measure 25. Personally, I would be surprised if they actually listen to it. So with that in mind, we don't have to spend too much time on it, but I personally would think that they would skip that. But let's talk about how that needs to be articulated. Right now, so I don't know if anyone read my last email, but it talked about how auditions are like a video game, right? And we are looking for ways to maintain the most points in the game. You win when you get the most points, and you get eliminated when you lose too many points. When I heard you play measure 14, it was like this. So it is perfectly in rhythm and is perfectly in tune and is very articulate. However, this articulation is so pointed. For me, that's a point deducted. Okay, so let's make sure you don't lose a point if you have to play these couple of bars. So I would think more generous in the bow, let's say bow brushing stroke, rather than. Does that make sense? Yeah, which is kind of a bit more like, let's say, Shostakovich or Stravinsky or something like that, right? Do you want to just see how that sounds? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, much better. So it sounds more generous on the longer B flat. Let also tiny cosmetic detail on that B flat. You want the sound to sound generous, so I'm listening for how you release the long note. And does that make sense? So listen to that. You want it to sound generous so that you are supporting the wind players as well. Pum pum, not pa pum or pa. Something in the middle where you can find just the right character. Yeah. Much better. That one's already much better. I like that one. Do you hear that one? That one has a little bit of a tail. And so you and I have talked about how we achieve that tail. So for those of you watching, when we want a bit more resonance in the sound, more what I said, generosity in resonance, what Eva is doing is allowing the bow. So this is the opposite. Stop. So the resonance has completely stopped, like it's a hard cut. But what you're doing is allowing the sound to go, and technically, this shape with my fingers, my arm, hand actually, is achieved through what I call the hover bow. The bow is actually hovering over the string. So this, see the bow is, yeah. So that gives me a few milliseconds of extra resonance. Okay, so I'm actually creating that resonance. No? Okay, that's a bit wobbly. There. The bow hovers just a little bit. Let's call it skating, hovering, whatever you want to call it. And so for those of you interested in finding that color or that extra resonance, one of the most, you can write this down if you're taking notes, please write this down. One of the most useful exercises that I have found for people to find this end of this tonal spectrum is this hover bow exercise. I call this the hover bow exercise. So let's say the bow is half a centimeter from the string, and I start pulling. Yes, Eva, you may try it with me. Anyone with a violin or an instrument right now, you can try it with me. See, I'm bowing. My bow may start to float and wiggle, but that just tests your bow hand control. How much bow can you pull, down bow and up bow? There, I touched the string. Oops. So that was a little wobble. But as you do this, you start to gain extra control. And then as you get closer here, and now I'm 1 millimeter from the string. There. You can hear sliver. Yes, Eva's doing it beautifully. Now, when you are able to create this control over the hair and the string, then we can do, and then add that extra millisecond of hover, which helps donate my sound a little bit of extra resonance. Okay, so everyone taking notes, right? Hover bow exercise. It's a good exercise, a bow exercise, bow technique, or bow control exercise to add. Now, Measure 7. I had highlighted it. Let's see. So this is one of those moments where it starts to get the harmony gets very mysterious. I wanted to maybe help you mold the character a little bit more so that we capture that. You want to just try from measure, is it 5 or 6? It's so tiny. Is that a 5 or a 6? Second line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5?
Yeah, or whatever it is, or maybe the bar before, the forte.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Already so excellent, but like I said, we're going for the absolute nth degree of details. So when we do, I think you're splitting bows, aren't you? So the consequence of splitting bows, when you make that decision for your audition, right now I'm hearing the splitting bows, and that's what is changing the character. Over these 2 bars, it is such a mystery moment that the mystery moment will be helped with longer line. And when you split bows, your longer line starts breaking. Okay, so I would suggest you try longer bows and slower bows too. Obviously, with longer bows, you'll have slower bows. See, my bow's quite slow. Enjoy the tritone. Yeah, that for me maintains the mystery, and that's character. So we always want to make sure you don't lose character. Does that make sense to you, Eva?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Does everyone agree? Maybe if you agree, type in the chat. Yes, I like mystery. Okay. Another detail that I would suggest for you is the ends of. What are you doing on these long notes? Bum, 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 bum. Do you notice here that I've used? See how I'm hovering there to create this taper in the sound. The half note. This is what I don't want. I don't know if it's so subtle, but I'm maintaining the same intensity, but I'd like for it to taper gracefully. So my bow speed, as you notice, slow down. Okay, so let's observe. Everyone observe what I'm doing with the bow. This is bow subtleties. Okay, this is version 1. Version 2. I mean, I'm exaggerating quite a bit, right? So with your subtleties in your bow, I think you're going to be able to color your palette with more colors. You want to right now see what you want? Yes. Okay. So that's good. So now you can play around with that, and it's also really good to hear the wind players. Da 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 da. So, ba 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 ba. Sorry, I'm missing one of these, aren't I? So those details matter. So hearing all the rest of the orchestra is great. Now, we had talked about the beginning of this. This is so good now. So for everyone studying this excerpt, Eva is doing such a beautiful job that we don't have to discuss it. But I have worked on this excerpt with so many different people. I just want to make sure that all of you watching, I want you to really hear the timpani at the very, very, very beginning of this excerpt. And Eva, you and I have already talked about that. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So when I start this excerpt, I think, well, first of all, we are in the key of E flat. So for those of you who know, E flat is a traditional key for a royal tonality, right? We use E flat for this kind of character, okay? Okay, well, this is a great comment. Desert Roots, Rising Stars, great suggestions. Listening to so many auditions, it's amazing how many miss all those details. So that's why we're here. Okay, this is for people who really want the details, okay? Chrysanthemum, we shouldn't be too soft on the descending scale to leave room for a taper. You want to have enough sound. It's a piano, you're right. I wouldn't say it's a decrescendo. It's not that at all. It's actually like a gentle trickle of water tumbling down a hillside, isn't it? Because that gives you direction. In fact, what I might do is start softly, right? The first one. Does everyone hear the gradation? Yeah. Okay, that's bow control. Oh, you mean half note? Sorry. Thank you, Chrysanthemum. Don't think too hard about it. It's part of the phrase. I think if we're micromanaging things, I'm contradicting myself, aren't I? I don't want that, but I also don't want you to be insensitive. I want to hear the winds. So as soon as I hear the winds, as soon as you hear the winds, I think you will naturally do what's appropriate in the bow. Does that answer the question? Yeah. So don't do a prescribed. Lynn told me to do a hover bow and do a decrescendo and that long. No. What is the correct answer is, do I hear ba-ba, ba-ba, the wind players? That's the correct answer. If you hear them, I think you would do the right thing. Yeah? Does that answer the question? Okay. How do we sculpt the dynamics from the scale through to the half? No. Okay, so let's talk about bow distribution. Going down a waterfall scale. I may ask you, Eva, to help me to demonstrate this. So looking at how much bow you use, crescendo is always a function of how much bow speed you're spending per note. Oh, how much bow you spend per, in this case, 30-second note. You're going to budget. This B flat gets this, A flat gets that, G gets this, F gets that, etc., etc., etc. So now you're micro budgeting. There's my B flat. There. So I'm going to start softly so that I can achieve this waterfall descent. Waterfall descent means what? There's an acceleration from gravity. And when there's an acceleration of gravity, there's an increase in energy. And translated to bow technique, an increase in energy means more. What is the answer, Eva? Tell everyone.
More bow.
Yeah.
More bow and more bow speed.
Thank you. That is the correct answer. So slower bow on one note means only little bow, right? So then there. So I've achieved the gradation of dynamics by just budgeting how much bow you use going down that cascading scale. I hope I've answered your question. Okay. Now, talk about, because you're so giving, weren't we? The timpani. Yes. Okay. So for those of you preparing this excerpt, I really want all of you to really get into character. Tip number 2, if you're taking notes, I talk about this a lot with my class. When we get ready for an excerpt, it's really, really important to get into character. How do we do that? Like an actor, when we prepare for a movie role or a role on stage, we want to know what character we're stepping into. We have to turn from ourselves into a new character. In this case, we said E flat is the key of royalty. So we need to think very, very, let's say, grand. We have a full orchestra starting, not just the strings, a full orchestra, plus we have the timpani. And I believe this is the most important feature. Kung, 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 and the wind, dum, bum. Now, this is one of the most helpful ways to get into character for this symphony. So if you can imagine the timpanist, you're going to hear 3 and dum, kung, kung, kung. See, I'm already playing with my imaginary timpanist. Okay, Eva, would you like to show everyone what that means? Because you've done it so well. And then we'll move on to the 4th movement for Yajing. I'll introduce Yajing. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool. Want to try it for us? Just to show us how you... Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Great. So this is great. Yeah, Eva, you got the right character. One thing that I have talked about too is also finding the release in the bow. So subtle, it's very subtle with you. I would say that we do not want to get too close to romantic style. exactly, because we're going to get into Brahms 4, and that's Brahms 4 step, right? So I would allow the bow. If we consider where bows came from, early bows. Early bows had more of a convex shape, and naturally they decayed because they got lighter, less strong at the tip. Only in the Romantic, this torch style bow, where we start to sustain the bow near the end of the bow. Okay, so that's another technical consideration to think. How can we sound a bit more like early music players? There's a tiny bit of relaxation in the tone and the sound. So if we sound more like Brahms, it will. That's definitely Brahmsian. So when we're playing with the timpani in our mind, 3 and ta 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 ta. I mean, I didn't go too far one direction in early music direction, but I did enough so that it doesn't sound too much like Brahms. You want to show us what that sounds like?
Sure.
Okay, cool. So the next thing I would get you to think about is, how do you flow over the course of the first bar? Tom, ba ba bum, because ba ba bum, right? That's the timpani. So we want to be able to connect the long ka. Do you hear that? How at the end of my down I went ka, right? I can actually feel it. So it's something that you can think about. Now let's just go quickly through the rest of it, because it's part 1. Now we're going to part 2, the allegro. I want to take a look here. Measure 61, 62. For those of you getting this part, I've always wondered how to get this. How do you get from here, the E string, to the G string? The best way I have found: do not use too much bow. Stop the bow. We've talked about this, Eva. Stop and drop. Boom. And then catch the A flat. You want to try this method? So it looks like this. Stop the bow. Drop. Catch the A flat. Yeah? You want to try this? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you want to try the next one? Just to feel how that one, the next one? Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you had done a retake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't recommend a retake. Okay. Yeah. So that I would definitely stop the bow and drop. Yeah. Same thing here, right? You're just stopping and dropping. And da 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 da. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I would recommend. Any other questions from anyone in the chat box before I move to the 4th movement? And I'll introduce Yajing. Don't worry, Eva will come back with Brahms. Don't worry, we'll see Eva again. Okay. Eva, thank you. I'll move to the 4th movement. Okay.
Thank you.
See you soon. Okay. Any questions about that? Does anyone have any questions? This is Mozart 39. Pardon me. 1st movement. So we're going to move to the 4th movement quickly. Okay. Yajing, are you ready? Yeah, she is. Okay. Welcome, Yajing, from the Oklahoma City Philharmonic. Hi.
Hello.
Yajing just finished in my VIP program. So tell me what you think are the most difficult things in this excerpt, because I find this 4th movement of Mozart 39 extremely difficult.
For me, I struggling my left hand and right hand, the coordinations and the string crossing. And I never have fun to play this excerpt, but I really want to enjoy playing, but always bother me.
Yeah, I agree. I do find the left hand and right hand coordination as well really, really difficult. Okay, shall we look at what the details might be for this excerpt and what the pitfalls are, and see if we can overcome them? Yeah? Okay. And type in your questions in the chat if anyone has any questions. Okay, go for it, Yajing. Woo! Great job. So in tune. Really hard. I find this excerpt so difficult. I thought you did a great job. I know it's hard. I know it's stressful. I get stressed out too. Your question was about left hand and right hand coordination, but it's actually really quite good.
Thank you.
I do want to ask though, because did you see one of my latest social media posts about no Suzuki Boeings?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so these are the tiny details that I mean when you go to an audition and you want to make sure you retain the highest number of points. You're the last person standing at the audition with the most number of points. So this tiny little detail, you have a lot of love coming in from, by the way. Yeah, congratulations, Yajing. Lauren says bravo. Yeah, look at this. Rosa saying hi. So one of these details that I mentioned in my social media post about be careful of the length of notes, the eighth notes in particular. We do not want them to cross into Suzuki style bowings or what fiddler style bowings or Brahmsian bowings or whatever. So what I was looking for was a consistency. You did long, short. So already it's not the same, not consistent. So at least choose one and stick with it. Yeah. So I think we do need a Mozartian relaxation in the sound. So not that, but see how that release happens? And you did it nicely there, I believe. Or maybe one was long, one was short. Yeah. So make sure you make them consistent. I do not want you to lose points at the audition. That's what I would, strike you out for. You mentioned left hand. So let's talk about that too. Okay. So then let's talk about a couple things. I want to talk about the beginning, and I also want to talk about direction in that there too as well. Let's start at the top, and let's take a look at the length of your those kind of notes. Okay, so let's take a magnifying glass to what you're doing with your bow on the B flat, the G. What I hear is your bow does like that. It actually does a swell like that. So what I would prefer hearing is not ba. Do you hear the difference? So looking at what you do with your bow is key. 1, 2, 1. That is a hua, not a. See what I did differently with my bow and the sound? So let's try that detail. Let's try that detail alone. That's better. That one. Does that hear that difference? This is what I mean by not losing points in an audition, because when you lose points, it doesn't mean you're a bad player. It just means that you're a great player, but I'm finding reasons to give you a little mini ticket, a speeding ticket or like a police officer saying, I want to give this person a stop sign. They ran over the stop sign. You know what I mean? They're looking for reasons to give you a ticket, even though you're a good driver. Like it's unfair, I know, at an audition, but I'm looking for reasons to say, the tiniest of details. We want you to do really well at an audition. These are the tiniest of details that will help you distinguish yourself. It's not that I never connect this to the A flat, but I do not. Yeah, these kind of details. One more time, and then see how you cope with or deal with this. So I would actually work on this on your own and see how much of a it's more like a poof. You know what I mean? Like a poof. Poof. Yes, exactly. So with the bow, you're gonna have to look at how you do poofs. So the bow hand is quite light as opposed to So you want to try a poof with me? Poofs. Better. Yeah. And you see how much bow you're spending. We don't actually have time for it. So I would do half that bow at least. There. I only use this much, and you're using about 3 times as much as I am. So you don't need as much bow. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Try. I would try for you. You're doing this. You're spinning a lot of bow. See how you can do a poof in just a tiny inch. There, inch of bow. That's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah. 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 So you might want to experiment with these. Let's see. Like these little tiny eighth notes. They're little tiny mini marshmallow poofs. They're really tiny, aren't they? These are bigger marshmallows. See that poof? Instead of, or, yeah. So listen back and I would be very consistent. Now, let's go to your next question about left-hand coordination. You want to do the string crossings? Yeah, it's very brutal. Let's go from right here, and then let's see how you get into it. Okay, this is everyone's homework, not just you. My homework, everyone who's watching today, this is your homework for this passage. I wanted you to start from this part here. And when you started, I noticed that you had to stop and you started it for a second time. Did you notice that? Okay, why? Why do we start and stop? It's usually because something's not prepared in time. So everyone listening, pay attention, take notes here. Why Yajing had to start again. Your fourth finger on the E flat wasn't ready ahead of time. That's why. And that's why you didn't start and you had to start again for a second time. So now let's take notes. F, B, B. Write this down. F, B, B. Finger before the bow. Everyone take a moment. Someone write that in the chat for me, please. Someone be a good student. Write that in the chat for everyone to be a good student. F, B, B. Finger before the bow. Find your double stops. If you've been watching me for a while, you know that I talk about D, S, O. Who wants to write D, S, O in the chat? Who's the first one who's going to put this in the chat? F, B, B, and D, S, O. Who's the first one? I know Chris. Chris, are you still there? F, B, B. Lauren, thank you. We have, who's the first one? Max. Oh, here we go. Max Swipe is the first one. Max Wipe, thank you. And Lauren, yes. FB, okay, thank you. Okay, yes, and Evans Gamma says DSO. Thank you. Daphne, thank you. When we find these DSOs and finger before the bow, you're ensuring that the bow is not going to stress out. Yeah, so that's why you said, I'm struggling with left-hand coordination and the bow. Oftentimes I have to work on this too. Make sure. One of the biggest culprits why we have trouble with left-hand and right-hand coordination is because the fingers are not there waiting for the bow. And I think you've heard me talk about this analogy where if I invite people over to my home for dinner and I'm preparing food and I look at the table, ding dong, my guests have come and there's no plates on the table. There's no forks on the table. There's no knives. There's no glasses. There's no napkins. Nothing is ready. And who gets freaked out? Me. I get stressed out. But if I took the time to put the plates down, right? My cutlery down, boom. My spoon down, boom. Everything down. And my guest arrives to my dinner table ready to go, I'm not so stressed anymore. Therefore, the coordination will be much, much more easy for you. There. DSO. What do I mean by DSO? You're finding an opportunity, a double stop opportunity. This is my double stop opportunity. Let me get that in tune. Okay, so there's another one there as well. G, B flat. So let's make sure that you have all this down before the bow even comes into the party. Yeah, you want to try? Exactly. So now we go. And then we go into more double stops. Yeah, all of that. Let's try.
Do I play the double stop or just play the notes?
As many as possible. As many double stops as possible. gets the idea, right? Left hand has to be before the bow. Okay, do you want to try the first half, and then we can take a look at the string crossing? Yeah, we can take a look at that in a second. Okay, so that's really good. I would actually play, if I were me, I would practice it slowly because I would like to see what happens with your left hand as you go from this formation, the E flat major formation. Let me see if I can get into camera properly. So I would actually help your nervous system calm down because right now I sense that it seems like a lot of information. Am I right? A lot of information. Yeah. Yeah, I understand. So here's another strategy that everyone can write down. Get your pens out. I call this trusting and trusting an outline. What do I mean by that? What I'm finding is an outline. There's an outline, okay? E flat major. There, that is an outline. A whole E flat major triad. So instead of thinking of 4 different notes to stress out over, I'm just thinking of one chord. Second chord. Okay, so that's F minor. The two chord in E flat major. Now you're moving to this one. Sorry, I didn't get that one quite correct. Okay, so if you think of finding basic outline, an E flat to an F minor, to an E flat again, to a 5/7 chord, you're thinking now in 4 blocks instead of 16 different notes. Am I making sense? Making sense. Yeah. Do you want to think of that in blocks, finding and trusting the outline, so that there's less stimuli for you to get overwhelmed? Think in blocks instead. 4-note blocks. Let's try. So your hand. This is why DSOs are important. When your hand finds a DSO, a double stop arbitrary, it thinks now in hand frames and blocks, harmonic blocks, but also technical blocks in your hand. You want to try that? See what it feels like. Thank you, Rosa. Perfect. Now, does everyone notice what Yajing did? She put this into a cluster or sprint or a burst or a rhythm. This is also a great practice strategy. So when you're practicing something and you have trouble with left hand, right hand coordination, what you just did, Yajing, was a rhythm. That's excellent practice. Okay, so if you're having trouble with left hand coordination, then you can add a variety of rhythms. So you did fast, 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 slow, right? What ta 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 ta. What if you did ta 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 ta? Let me play it. Sing it. That's another way of practicing and challenging your left hand. So you can put your passage through a factory of practice techniques. Would you like to show everyone how that works? So what does that do for everyone watching? When you put your passages through rhythm, it's like going through a workout. Yeah, your fingers are going through a workout. The point is not to put yourself through the workout and kind of not hear or see what's happening. The point is to go through the workout and see where are the sluggish parts of my passage. Where are the drops of the finger or lifts of the finger not responding the way I want? So if you hear, let me see, you did, right? If you hear that, yeah, things are not coordinated, as you can see. I can't control a lift or a drop. So in this rhythm, I'm going to see how well I can control this rhythm. Sorry, let me think about this. My brain is thinking, that was a good one. And that was a good one. So the weakest one for me is the first one. This one, why? It's, why, technically. 4th finger is really difficult to lift. Lift. This is what I mean by putting your passage through a bunch of rhythms. Then you start to see this lift was difficult for me. Does that give me information? Yes, it does. Now do you see where you need to practice? Do you want to show us how you would work on da, dee, da, da, da? Okay. Double stop. Good. Okay, so did you hear that? This is exactly exactly where as well. That was exactly where I tripped up as well. Here. So here's another layer to add when you're practicing rhythms for everyone taking notes. When you practice a rhythm, make sure that your brain is ahead of your fingers so that you can mentally rehearse, mentally imagine, da, 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 da. Picture the fourth finger lifting to the B flat. I have to picture that first, otherwise I won't be successful in this rhythm. Here we go. I'm gonna picture da, da. There. I actually pictured it and was more successful. That was a bit sluggish. There, that's better. Okay, I have to think before I do it. So you want to try? See how that feels? I'll tell you where that comes from. I studied with Burton Kaplan. He calls this practicing with the third hand, the brain. The brain is your third hand. This is your first hand, or sorry, left hand, right hand, and then this, the brain. So make sure the third hand is ready. You want to try? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's quickly go through the string crossings and then we'll move to Brahms. Okay. Because I know a lot of people will want to know about these string crossings. So this is hard. Sorry. Let me get that in tune. There it is. I'm just going to remove you for 1 second to show my bow. Okay, Yajing? Okay. There we go. Okay. So here's my bow. We want to find the most economical way of crossing the string with the least amount of tension. So here, I'm just getting a nice détaché that flows. So then in this string crossing, I might have to work on making this fluid. So you notice that the fingers are flowing with the string crossing. And sometimes I see people tighten right here in an attempt to control the bow. What I want to do is actually relax from the chest, the back, the neck, upper arm here, bicep, tricep, and use the least amount of muscular effort or energy to achieve the string crossing in slow motion first. There, I'm using the least amount of, it's not that, I'm using quite a lot of effort. And I don't know if you noticed, but this is trying to do a string crossing just from wrist, and nothing is happening here. But if I allow more of my bow arm structure, which is what I call this, all the way up to even the neck and the shoulder blade, there's a bit more responsiveness from the rest of your bow arm. And then when you have more responsiveness from your bow arm, then you're allowing the entire bow arm to respond to the technique. Not control the technique and not be too passive, but just enough engagement in the bow arm to achieve the bow to cross the string. Here too. So here, it's important to really practice how fluid you can get these string crossings. There's a question that's coming here, how to get a good quality of sound in the string crossings. Quality of sound comes from you really paying attention to what you're doing with the bow, okay? There's only two types of bad sound, crunch and whistle and scratch. So you have to diagnose which one's which. And the fastest way to correct it is through the adjustment of your bow speed, which will then be a function of pressure and contact point. Or if you're getting a bad sound because you're not coordinated, right, let me see. You're not sure which of your strings you're crossing to, then you need to choreograph. It depends on the source of your bad sound. I mean, is it bad sound because you're uncoordinated? Or is it sound because you're not catching the string? You're not catching the string here. I'm not catching the string here. Or I'm crunching the string there. Does that make sense? It really depends on what the source of your bad sound is. So you first have to use your ears and discern what type of bad sound is it. Why am I getting the bad sound? What am I doing that's causing the bad sound? And then you need to diagnose it like a scientist. Or if you have questions, you come into my class and I'll help you. Okay? So when we do these string crossing, now this one, obviously these two do not have string crossing, but this one does. This is nice to practice because it'll get you loose. Okay, so I would isolate each type or each portion of the string crossing that's necessary. This one is up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and then eventually it's backwards, isn't it? Sorry. Upside down. And this one's the other way. Now rehearse this one. Down, up, down. Figure out which one is more difficult for you, whether it's up, down, or down, up, which one is which, okay? So this is something that we can probably take a look at inside my VIP coaching program. If you join my program, we can take a look at how these string crossings are going to help you. Number one, first, or B and DSOs. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Without a left hand that is ready down on the strings, your bow is just going to be shooting darts randomly, like, and it's not going to be very much fun. Make sure this is all down, and then you have a chance. Okay? What you can do, strategy number 2, play open strings only. At that tempo. Okay? What I'm doing is making sure that my détaché on one string is already flowing. I'm doing a lot of détaché work with another student in the VIP coaching program right now. And then as you get comfortable, then you can move to string crossings. And reverse. And then you take those skills with the opportunities. So did you notice that when I cross the string, the B flat is waiting for me? That's what I mean by FBB. The finger is waiting for my bow. It's ready. The plate is down on the table. My guest has arrived now. This one too. The E flat is ready. The table has been set and the guest arrives now. Okay, so does that make sense, Yajing? I'll bring you back on. Does that make sense to you? Yeah. So going slowly enough so that you know, first of all, step number 1, make sure your left hand is really prepared. If they start flying like this, your bow starts to get stressed, and that doesn't help your string crossings. Second step number 2, hope everyone's taking notes on this because I know everyone has questions about the string crossing. Get your détaché flowing first. If you need help, come talk to me and you can talk to me and we can get into you start my class. So then we need to get your détaché flowing, and then we can have you practice the choreography of going down to up on a string crossing this way and a string crossing that way, and then up to down on a string crossing that way and this way. And then once you get those fluidity inside your pattern of movement, then you can start making them faster, more efficient. Okay, does that make sense? Any questions? Well, so many things here. Sorry, let me just, I want a richer sound, so I'm trying your cheese and knife tip. Yay, you saw my bow articulation workshop, and thank you, great. Let's see, thank you. You came at the right time as you're trying Mendelssohn Opus 13. Oh yeah, fantastic. That's great, Sam. Suzanne, hi Suzanne. I agree with the third hand. I've unlocked many challenges when I'm purposefully adding my brain. Yep, indeed. Sometimes we forget, we don't go slow enough. Yajing, do you have any questions before we go to Brahms? Okay. No? Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We'll go to Brahms. So let's we'll change gears and switch into Brahms. So thank you, Yajing. We'll see you soon. Okay. Eva. Welcome back. Okay. We'll switch gears. All right. What do you find hard about this excerpt, the coda of the first movement of Brahms 4?
Intonation.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because your intonation is always really quite strong. Intonation. Tension, do you suspect it's the shifts? What do you suspect is the issue here?
I mean, the shifts, and also a lot of places I don't know if there's like a proper shift to get into the right intonation, right pitch, because it's always like jump around, like really big range.
Oh, that's true. Okay. So in this particular excerpt, okay, maybe I need to say this after you play so people get a sense of what we're working with, because this excerpt does require big jumps. So in this case, I would like for everyone to start thinking now that it's a matter of trust, isn't it? trusting that you can land the notes. And that's really scary in an audition. So let's talk about how we can increase trust in this excerpt and accuracy and consistency. Okay, let's go. I'll remove. Wow. Wow. Excellent playing. You got the job. You got the job. Your intonation is perfect. What are you talking about? It's perfect.
I've been trying different fingerings and different shifts, different fingerings and positions. Yeah.
Okay. So it sounds like you're very comfortable now with your fingerings.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Oh, Yishuan has a question. Hi, Yishuan. Ah, Lauren. Okay, sorry. My apologies, Lauren. We are in Brahms 4, first movement, the coda, which is measure 392. My apologies. So sorry, Lauren. So this is quite a challenging virtuosic part of the first violin part, and you played it perfectly. Your fingering seemed great. Do you know what? Now we just put the tiniest of details. What I notice when we have the half notes with the accents, measure. After Q, if everyone has the same part as I do, Q, which is 3, 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 9, 8, 3, 9, 7. I would actually sustain a little bit longer just so it has more sense of a line. So all of your eighth notes, yeah, you have some fans here. You got some fans. Applause for you from Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have some applause. So that one too, as well as 424. Here, those ones. Yeah, just a tad more melodic kind of approach. Just a tad. Yeah, I think you had released like we almost done in the Mozart, I guess. A little bit like that. So now's the time to really dig in. Now we're talking about this. Let's really apply Brahms style here now. So another thing that you and I have talked about, you've done so well. We've talked about how do we create this measure 408. What is happening here? The slurs, these duple slurs, are off the beat. Payum, 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 payum. What does that do? It creates a musical sense of tension. It's not toddy tooty toddy tooty toddy tooty toddy, which is going to be very funny in the AI transcription. Toddy tooty toddy tooty, but it's going to be tadu tida tidu tida tada tada, and so you're off the beat. And this is a feature in Brahms's compositions where he creates a rhythmic dissonance. So I would love to be able to hear that a bit more. Show us it really is a rhythmic dissonance, yeah? At this level, at your level of playing, we can do that. So first, it's on the beat. On the beat, on the beat. Now it's off. And that's, it's kind of like rubbing. It's uncomfortable, and that's the point. So now we're back on. Now we're off. Now we're definitely on G long. And now we're doing hemiolas, which is another form of rhythmic dissonance. Hemiolas again. And then duples, but they're all offset. So everyone studying this excerpt, one, you can write this down. Looking for meaning in Brahms's music. Rhythmic dissonance is one of those features in Brahms's compositions. So you can go on the beat, and underneath is right? Okay, but then we have said something like tension. Now, do you see how immediately I feel anxious? Musically anxious, yeah. So these are the tiniest of details that you can help preserve your points, and actually not just preserve your points, but give you let's call them bonus coins in your video game, right? And if I hear a candidate like you haven't lost any points because you've hit tone, you've hit speed, a rhythm is perfect, intonation is perfect. But then this candidate behind the screen, I would give them bonus gold coins because of these kind of details. Yeah. So you want to just see how you can create this kind of, let's say, bonus interpretation. Let's go from the maybe where were you like, where it doesn't matter where you like. Okay, tiny. Now, what I understand now why I don't quite feel the tension, because you know why? I feel like the second of the duple is cheated just a tad. Like this. I'm going to stretch each duple for its full value. Please don't cheat my duple because then I don't feel it. Yeah. Okay. So even when you get to here, not too long, but I don't want to feel cheated either. I feel cheated in that one, right? Wait. I'm backwards in bow, but do you feel my ums?
Yeah.
That's I'm not cheating that rhythm. Yeah. Let's try so we really get that. This is how you get extra gold coins.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at I'm actually thinking, how am I articulating the off beat? Let me try to see if I can explain this. Here. These are the off beats. Are they? You know me, I'm very picky with rhythm. You know that. Yeah. I don't want to be annoying. But when I'm looking for the utmost rhythmic dissonance, the rhythmic dissonance truly has to be in the right place. So if you're slightly fuzzy with your rhythmic placement, you see how that sounds soft? And soft doesn't necessarily mean it sounds very effective. Where does that articulation? You've seen me talk about this a lot, right? Where do you place the articulation bow? So if this is a downbeat, this is an offbeat, I want your consciousness to be conscious of when you're starting your bow on this offbeat. This is the downbeat, and this is the offbeat. I'm getting black ink on my finger. Making sure that this, when you're subdividing with a metronome, bam, 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 right? Your bow articulates precisely there. Somewhere around. Does that make sense? So I know that's being super, super, super picky, splitting hairs. Yes, I am going to split hairs. So I lost my music. Let me make sure I'm on the right bow. Is it down bow? Is it up bow? No, it's up bow. So I'm making sure that when I start my E, for example, is it precisely my articulation starting right? And then also the second note. Both of them. That's what I'm working on for rhythmic precision. Do you hear that one? That's actually, I'm happy with that one. Dum. Here, now. So if I were to break it down practice-wise, I would actually articulate every single, like I said about the Chrysanthemum's question, about budgeting. What part of the stick am I budgeting per eighth note? Does that make sense? So let me try this better. So I am dedicating a part of the stick to each note. I'm conscious of it. Sorry, you can't see my whole arm. And then it becomes the duples. And then it becomes a little bit more closer to what we want. Where am I? Does that make sense, or does it sound different to you? Yeah, does it sound like it has rhythmic dissonance now? I hope it does. Does anyone notice that in the comments? The rhythmic dissonance, the intensity of the rhythm? Please say yes. So type a Y in the chat. While they do that, let's try Eva. Let's see if we can find that. It's what I'm trying to find is this rhythmic sense of tug and pull, tug and pull, tug and pull. Okay, good. You're almost there. It's the second part of your duple that I am not feeling your tug. Taya. It goes taya, 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 yeah, taya. The ya part I'm listening for. Taya, taya. Yeah. Better. Does everyone hear the difference? If you do hear the difference, type, I don't know, find a gold coin, money sign, money sign. Yeah. Yeah. So daft dub, I feel those duples are blending together too much. This is what I'm trying to get at. We don't want them to be mushy. Right? Like that's an extreme example. So that the offbeat, offset duples. Let's see, where am I in the score? Yeah. I'll accent the ones that are offbeat. Yeah, that they're really precise. And then the second note of the duple is really precise as well. That you place them in the correct part of the bar. If I were to visually represent it, if I had a ruler, like, okay, let me see if I can do a ruler here. Okay, let's do a ruler. Yeah, does that represent, sort of help represent? Okay, right now it's uneven, as you can see. This is uneven right here. But what we're doing is we're going to make this as even as possible. Wait, one of them's, okay, yeah, I'm having trouble clearly. Yeah, we don't want one to collapse, like this one here, the white one. We don't want that to be inaccurate here. Oh, wait, am I doing this? It's hard to do a mirror image on a camera. Yeah, so that's what I'm listening for. I'm visually trying to represent what I'm listening for. And then I draw a slur between the two of them. Do you want to try one more time? Because Daft Dub heard it too. Yeah? Yeah. So then I would actually now pay attention to, is my down bow exactly in control like my up bow is? Because I hear slight differences between up bow and down bow.
Oh.
Right? So then now you're just doing this and then doing this to make sure that both sides are even. You want to try? Yeah. Right? When I take your down bow was quite good. The up bow was not yet under the same control. Ta-ya. That one. Ta-ya. Ta-yam, pa-yom. That one. That's better. Ga-yo, the D sharp one. Yeah. Yes. Bravo. You got it. You hear the difference?
Yeah.
For me, now it has the bums with dissonance. So Christine agrees. Christine Casano, thank you, Christine, for writing that. Yes, this is exactly what my teacher told me to do for that part. It makes a big difference. And I agree. Does everyone hear the difference? If you do, type a yes. Because Eva's sounding, like I said, Eva's top notch. Now we're just adding sprinkles and glitter to her eyelashes on her eye makeup. That's all we're doing now, because you clearly are a concertmaster. You clearly are an audition winner. Any other questions before we go to the next excerpt with Yajing?
I don't have any question. I just want to
drag
say
it forever here.
Lynn. Thank you so much, Lynn. You always like spot what exactly I'm struggling with and just come up with a really practical solution. I just want to thank you for that. Yeah.
My pleasure. Well, you know how much I love working on things together with you, so it's so much fun. Hey, glitter achieved. See, you got the glitter. Oh, wait, there. Daft Dub says you got glitter on that. Okay, good. Christine, to understand it, your teacher told you to think about putting an accent on the second note, but still keeping the rhythm. That's precisely what it is. Yeah. Christine's got it. So everyone listen to Christine and Christine's teacher. Okay. Chris, I see your question. Let me get to it later. Okay. Let's get Yajing, because we're running out of time. I have to go. Okay, bye, Eva. See you. Thank you so much. Okay, Yajing. So let's finish off with the fourth movement, shall we? Okay, so everyone follow along. Move to the fourth movement in Brahms Symphony No. 4. We're going to go to measure 33. Measure 33 in the fourth movement. Let me catch up too. And we're going to go from 33 to measure 80. Okay. Yay! Great preparation. That's really great. So, do you have any specific questions? Because we don't have a lot of time left because we're going quite in depth. And I'm sorry, I probably managed the time. I could have managed the time a little bit better. But do you have any specific questions about this excerpt, or anyone in the chat?
Try to play Brahms sound, but still want to keep the music flowing. Yeah.
Brahms sound, the quality of sound of Brahms.
Yeah.
You do have a great sound already. What I actually want to hear more is you bringing out more of the characters that are in the symphony, especially the opening, for example. Excuse me, there's something in my throat right at the moment. What I think, sorry, my throat. What I think is missing is a sense of hearing the sound that you want. I think you do know what you want. You want some kind of Brahms sound, and I think you need to get it how you translate into your bow technique. What I mean is on that E, for example, I missed a sense of intensity and sostenuto. Yeah, and also the fact that I'm listening to the flavor of the harmony and the intervals. They're actually quite painful. And because the intervals and the harmonies are painful, I want to create that sort of musical, the equivalent of musical angst. And that's going to come with how you use the bow. If you could observe what I did with my bow. My bow was very much in the string. So you're asking about Brahmsian sound. Let's try in the string, sustained, and maybe a slower bow. That's quite heavy and slower. I'm under tempo, but I'm just going to experiment with my sound first. You want to try? Sound first. Good. So I like the sostenuto. Now the next thing that we can add is what we had done with our guest master class guest. Remember Dr. Min? Dr. Min Jung Ko came and we talked about how what we can do with the bow. So in long notes, this is a rule, a general rule. So everyone taking notes, a long note should never stay flat. Boring, the same. Okay, that's a rule. You can write that down. If you have a longer note, listen to what you're doing with the longer note. Does it have direction? Do you need direction? Does it die? Do you want it to die? What do you want to do with that long note? There's a long note in the middle of each bar. Do, long note, da, da, long note. Always these longer notes. You need to decide what does the long note need to do? What do you want it to do?
Release a little bit.
You want it to release. Interesting. Sorry, I'm making that quite, I don't know. Okay. I see. So you want it to have an organic quality. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, because what I heard wasn't quite that. What I heard was an exact flat energy in your bow. Do you hear how flat the long notes are? That's actually what I heard. So if you want that organic quality, I need to see you do something with your bow. So maybe you do want a slight relaxation. I won't say release. Release, I use the word for Mozart. Maybe I'll use a word relaxation in the energy. Yeah, see, you're right. I did relax the sound a little bit. It started with an articulation and then changed or relaxed. I think I agree with you. You want to see how you achieve that with your bow hand? Yajing, I'll show you what you're doing on the E. By this part of the bow stick, you're actually not relaxing. You're actually still holding that energy the same. If you really want to relax, you're going to have to adjust that energy. So this energy is quite intense at the beginning of the stroke, right? Up bow. And you held the energy. I'm exaggerating. But if you want to relax that energy, you're going to have to do it in your bow at that lower part of the bow. Right? There's an exaggeration. There's that hover bow that we talked about at the very, very top of the class. There's the intensity, and then that's an exaggeration, right? That's a definite change in energy or change in energy. Yeah, let's call it energy. Right? That's extreme. See, it actually changed, right? It's quite intense there, and then there's something changing here. Do you hear it? Yeah, I hear it right there. So I guess what I'm doing is I'm aiming for the articulation, the front of the E ba articulation, and then I let it relax. So this is actually inside of your left hand. This is called your bow control, right? Your articulation here, boom, boom, boom. This index finger here. Let me do the E. Here, E. Here. So you can apply this articulation on the front of the note, and then you can adjust how much you want after. That's an extreme example, right? That's an extreme example where I don't do anything with this finger. Do you want to try whatever you like? Yeah. So I think you can get a little bit more contact on your up bows. Contact. That one. Do you hear my contact? You can try that. And that gives me a sense of, let's say, definition in your let's say theme. This is actually variation, right? All these things are coming in the symphony are variations. Tom pa, it's a ta wa 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 ba, something just a bit more definite. Ba. How do we get the definition? How do we get it? So what happens is you need to be able to catch the string. And to catch the string, there's a moment where the bow has kind of stopped, and you've the knife. Someone mentioned the knife. This is where the knife there. So if your bow is moving and you try to catch a string, you're not going to be as successful. That's what's happening. See? Yeah, I'm moving the knife before the knife has had a chance to cut. So when you get off this B, plan your cut. And I hear the cut. I feel it. You want to try this cut? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then you have an excellent cut in the down bow. You can just practice this kind of. You said you want that Brahmsian sound. This is what you might need to go in this direction. This is what the direction you might need to experiment, so that each note has depth and definition. I won't say cut necessarily. I'll say definition. You hear the definition, right? Here too. Sorry, half of my fingers showing. Not showing. Here on the B natural. Definition. Right? Not fine. Right? I'm finding ways to get definition. Maybe it's a clean left hand and compared with the clean definition of your bow. So you're asking, how do I get that Brahmsian sound? That's something I would pay attention to. You did quite well in. You did quite well in all those. I thought those were really, really well done. So do you have any other questions about this? Because I would like to quickly talk about character, and then we'll have to end because this class is going super, super long. When you do something when measure 69, yeah, this needs to have a bit more of a spooky character. Yeah, so you're gonna have to look for that character, and then when you get to 73. Yeah, that sound needs to be so glorious. And so how I find it, again, is that contact with the bow to the hair. Everything here in this sextuplet has contact. So you feel the knife has really sunken into your string. Do you hear the sound? Maybe that's what the Brahmsian sound you were looking for. Do you want to just try that one? Yeah. Good. That's actually quite nice. It starts off very well on the down bow, where I think you're not catching the strings on the up bow of the triplet, the second half of the sextuplet. Here, that's where I actually missed it. Yeah. So do you know what it is? It's the shift. Do, da, dee, da, da, da. That's all. It's just a timing thing. It's just timing. Yeah. Da, 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 da. Yes. Yes. Okay. So this is how I troubleshoot. Everyone watching. So thank you, Yajing, for demonstrating. How do we work on these excerpts? First of all, you have to be very, very attentive. So Yajing has me to help her. And you also said, I want a Brahmsian sound, so I'm here to help you. So all of you watching, this is the process that I go through. This is the process that my students go through. As you can see, we look for what, okay? You can write this down. My practice process is always questions. You are a detective in the practice room. You ask the question, what am I happy with? What am I not happy with? Right? I was happy with your intonation. I was happy with your overall character. But I wasn't happy with, let's say, you said yourself, I wasn't happy with the Brahmsian sound. Okay. So the next question is, where exactly? Be it specific. Where? Okay. These are the questions. Write them down. What? Where exactly? And then why? I don't know. And then we said bow. Is it the bow? Articulation? Knife? Oh, why? Okay. So if that's the case, the next question you ask is how? How am I going to work on this? Okay. So then you and I noticed that maybe the sextuplet wasn't working because of the shift and the coordination, right? The coordination from the shift to your up bow. So you go systematically in the practice room working on these excerpts to go through these questions. Where do I need to work on? What exactly do I need to work on? Why is it going wrong? That's a very important question. And then once you figure out what's going wrong and why it's going wrong, then you need to figure out how you're going to work on it. And then that process continues. Does that give you ideas? Yeah? All right. Can someone write that in the chat for me? Those 4 questions. This is a very important practice process. And who's the best student in the class today? Write this in the chat. Who's the first person? Right? A race against time. Yajing, thank you so much. Thank you so much for helping me demonstrate. Let me, before we do a quick Q&A, because I am running out of time, let's do a quick review. Okay, so thank you so much, Yajing. Okay, yay, Christine, thank you, you're a good student. Okay, what, where, why, how, thank you so much. Okay, so let's do a quick review, because I don't want you to leave the class and be overwhelmed. I don't know what Lynn talked about at all. I hate that. That's one of my personal pet peeves. I don't like going to a class and someone asks me, what'd you learn? And I go, I don't know. There was a lot. I don't want that. I hate that. That's one of my pet peeves. So I like to do summaries. My students know that. Whenever we finish a lesson, whenever we finish a class, I give them action points. I give them a summary. These are the main points. So this is for you now. This is all for you. In this class, I would like for you to tell me what is the one thing that you feel is your biggest takeaway. Okay? I want you to be able to take away something, one thing at least, okay? One thing. What is it? Please type it in the chat. Who's the first person to share? Who is the first person to share what that might mean? Okay, whether it's looking at the score or working on intonation or working on rhythm or what is your takeaway? What are you going to walk away with today? Okay? What, where, why, and how. Thank you. Okay, that's Chris. Thank you so much. Okay, we have how to practice. Thank you, Lauren. That's good. This is really important, how to practice, okay? So what we're going to do is, so the first thing is I want you to start taking a look at some of these variables: bow control, sound and tone, left-hand consistency and speed, phrasing, rhythm and pulse. Okay, this is great. Relaxed bow arm control, characters. Thank you. Good. Excellent. Okay. Consulting the full score. Think about what you need the most. Carrie, thank you. This is the first time I've seen you, Carrie. Thank you. Relaxed bow arm, string crossing. Good. Carol. Style. Excellent. Good. Lauren, minute details. Thank you. Michael, yeah. Lion, each composer must be addressed in a different bow mindset. Yes. Oh, good. These things are coming in. Good. Mozart, tapering at the ends of phrases. Excellent. Brain ahead of the bow and fingers. Yeah, good. Excellent. Good. Listening to more recordings. Okay, excellent. Keep them coming. So if you found today's class helpful and you would like to go further, here's how we can keep going. Because as you can see, these small adjustments can make very, very big transformations for me, yourself and my students, such as Danny. Danny came to me wanting to take auditions, and she felt a little bit dismayed. And we went through some coaching together, and she played so beautifully. She won Concertmaster of her orchestra. So I was really happy for Danny. Luke as well. Luke was in my program, coached with me for a long while, and he won 2 auditions. Principal second violin of Santa Cruz, first violin U.S. Symphony. So this is what's possible. If you want to keep working, if you're curious about what's possible, we can work together. I can help you. As you see, Yajing and Eva are in my program right now. We have several people in the chat who are in my program. Lauren, Yixuan, we have Louise, we've got Lauren, all these people. Okay, so, and even if you're not a professional player, you have people like Nathaniel, who got into a master's program, full scholarship at Rice. I helped him win his audition. So this is my special invitation. For those of you who would like to go further, I'm offering a free stamp assessment, a 45 to 60-minute call. So this is something that you can book on my calendar free of charge. If you are a serious violinist and you'd like to work on improving every single variable that will help you win an audition, whether it's your setup, your technique, your A game, which is your mindset. I'll help you reduce tension in your playing and look at your technique. I'll help you also take a look at what postural things are interfering with your technique and your posture. We can take a look at all of these aspects and variables in your playing and how we can improve that for your next audition. So At the end of the call, you'll leave with a personalized action plan tailored to you. We'll have specific strategies that we'll come up with to make sure that you have the best possible chance at your next audition. And I'll give you recommendations. So you will have a personalized plan made specially for you. And if you and I feel like it's a good fit, then we will discuss how it looks to come inside my VIP coaching program and join my VIP family. So you may be wondering, who is this call for? It's for those of you who are very serious and high level, just like Eva, just like Yajing. You're training for auditions, or you're a professor already, or you have a studio. Even if you're an amateur player and you're playing string quartets, or you want to play difficult repertoire, you will be the right person to join my VIP class. Okay. Now, if you're accepted as a VIP, I will personally walk through a path, a plan that's made for you. Only you, okay? This is why I call it a VIP program. So you can join the rest of the people who have done my program. They've won major auditions. They play professionally in orchestras around the world. They've won scholarships to schools, doctorates, master level programs. So you can see all the different people from all around the world who have worked with me, okay? Now, if it's not a fit, if you are not the right fit for my coaching program, you will still walk away from the call with a personalized plan. So I invite you to book a call now. Where is the link? Here it is. Get your phones out, scan this QR code, and I should be able to put this up here as well. There on the bottom, it is lynnkuo.com/free-call. So scan that QR code, and you can fill out a short questionnaire, and that will help me understand you and your situation better. So I will know what problems you're facing, what your goals are, and that way I'd be able to ascertain whether I can help you. And we can discuss that as we go forward, okay? So I hope that you will take advantage of this opportunity, because those who book a call within the next 24 hours, you will get a fast action bonus, a free 1-hour private coaching with me. I will be offering that bonus for the next 24 hours. So in 24 hours, if I receive a booking on my calendar saying that you booked a call and you decide to join me, in the VIP coaching program, I will add this to your package, a free private coaching. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? I'll put it in the QR code. If you have questions, let's see them in the comments, and I can answer a few questions before I have to take off. Okay, there's some good comments coming here. Elisa, brain ahead of the bow and fingers. Yes. Christine, bow control. You're going to look at bow control, especially the string crossings. Yes, good. Costas, bow control. Yes. Rosa, lean to fundamentals. Yes, good. Lean on the fundamentals. Yes, good. Excellent. Sorry, finger before bow. Yes, Carrie Hills. Yes. All right. Desert Roots, Rising Stars, thank you for a great class. My pleasure. My classes are always like this with great people in it. Any comments? Questions? Any comments or questions before we adjourn for the weekend? Any comments? Nothing? If there's nothing, then I will take off because I have to run. Oh, okay. You're welcome, Rosa. My pleasure. I'll see you soon in the VIP coaching program. Rosa is going to be joining soon. Question about the double stops. Should we play? Yes. Thank you for reminding me. Upper notes or everything as much as possible? That's a good question. I've been through orchestra classes, and some of the coaches say just stick to the top line. Just stick to the top line. Have some double stops within reason, I wouldn't think that's a bad idea either. So sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't think it's one of those things where if they penalize you for playing double stops or vice versa, I think that's ridiculous. You won't lose points, I don't think. So do what you can. If you play double stops, make sure they're bloody well in tune. That's what I would say. Okay? Michael Lyon, music. You're welcome. Thanks so much, he says. Okay, great. I'm working on Mozart's concerto. Oh, yes. Is it G major? Yeah. I'll get my degree in 1 year. Good luck. My pleasure, Christine. You're in Brazil, Elisa? Thank you for saying that, for telling me where you are. You're welcome, Chrysanthi. Okay. Is that it? No questions? All right. Remember that you can book a call with me on my calendar. I'm playing a lot of concerts lately, so be sure to book your call soon, because my calendar will fill up. And then I won't have any spots left for you if you want to talk. So it's lynnkuo.com/free-call. We can get a bigger and better picture of what is in your way and how I can help you. Okay, so with that, I will let you have a wonderful weekend, and I wish you all the best in your future auditions. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.